Welcome everyone. It's been a little while since we've hosted a webinar. So welcome back, or welcome to those new attorneys who are on the line. In case we haven't met, I'm Cara Pryor. I'm the president of James Publishing. I'm also the founder of our Marketing Amplifier program. I hope you're all doing really well. Hey, actually, first, to kick things off, get you engaged in the chat. Let us know where you're from and your areas of practice. So go ahead and open up the Zoom chat. You should see it there in your little Zoom toolbar. Let us know where you're from, your areas of practice, and just change that little drop down, that to drop down from hosts and panelists. Make sure that says everyone so that we can all see your responses and your questions and your comments throughout this presentation. It's crazy. I think I say this all the time now, but I read that you're 85% more likely to get actionable, use practical information from a webinar if you are actively involved in the chat. So let's get involved. Let us know where you're from, your areas of practice, and we'll start to get to know each other. Good. Thanks. Idaho, Texas. Good. And obviously, I think on this presentation, you'll probably be leaning more toward personal injury. That's kind of what we're focused on today, but I do see a lot of other kind of multi-specialties as well. So I'm excited to share with you today 4 pretty specific ways that personal injury law firms like yours can materially improve their marketing results. So none of these techniques cost much, if anything, to execute. And all can really be handled in-house by the law firms. No special expertise is really required. So I'm going to show you today, really specifically, how to set more appointments with prospective clients with 0 increase in your website traffic, so your current website traffic. Establish more referral partners using the one approach guaranteed to work. We know it works because we use this approach. How to create your own marketing channel, one that doesn't depend on SEO, doesn't depend on PPC, or even an outside agency to consistently deliver qualified prospects. And then we'll have an open Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Anytime throughout the presentation, just feel free to submit your questions through the Zoom chat, and we'll get to those. And a quick heads up before we dive in, I'm going to clearly outline 4 battle-tested techniques, but just keep in mind, this is all included in our Marketing Amplifier program. So if you'd like us to handle any of it for you, let's talk. I'll talk more about that at the end, but I'll drop my calendar link in the chat now. If you want to set an appointment with me, even just to talk about your marketing, I'd love to. I love talking about this stuff. Okay, let's get down to business. Today, we're talking about 4 big personal injury marketing wins. So let's start with the fact that you don't need Google rankings or more website traffic to materially increase the number of appointments your firm schedules with prospective clients, right? So you simply need to implement these pretty simple marketing tactics. They've been used successfully for years by many million-dollar businesses, but really, for the most part, ignored by most of the small law firms that I speak with. So diving into technique number 1, lead magnet and follow-up. What do I mean by this? So lead magnet and follow-up. We reviewed more than 2,000 law firm websites in our research for one of our books called The Most Effective Law Firm Marketing Agencies. And only a handful of those websites offered a lead magnet in exchange for contact information. So the complete absence from the legal field of the single most potent standard, really, internet marketing technique creates huge opportunity for you. So the highly effective internet marketing technique of offering lead magnet on your website has, for reasons that I'm unsure of, been ignored by lawyers. But what is lead magnet, right? Here is kind of how it works. So essentially, lead magnet, you offer valuable, educational, high quality content, either written or in video form, whatever format you're most comfortable with. You serve that valuable content up to your website visitors in exchange for contact info, right? Then you are able to nurture those prospects along until they're ready to sign up. The idea is that you undoubtedly have a group of your website visitors, could be a rather large group of your website visitors who maybe they're coming to your site, maybe they're not quite ready to book a consult, maybe not quite ready to give you a call, but looking to get their questions answered, looking to gather more information. So you can imagine that a lead magnet, valuable, high value content would be very effective. So here's a look at delivering a lead magnet through a pop-up on your website. So if you take a look at the slide, pop-ups like these can easily be created using pop-up software. There's lots of options out there. You can even use ClickFunnels as well. But we like to offer FAQs, frequently asked questions, because of their broad appeal, right? And pop-ups basically engage visitors who would otherwise leave your website without a trace, right? So if we didn't have this offer, and typically set up as sort of an exit intent pop-up, meaning as your visitor goes to exit your site, literally as they're moving their mouse cursor over to the X, this pop-up appears at the last minute, offering them a valuable piece of content in exchange for their contact information. And as a result, you build your list, which is of course critically important in the ongoing efforts, in your ongoing digital marketing efforts, right? As we'll get into later. But as you'll see on this pop-up, we're simply asking, you have questions about your injury claim, we have answers, and in this case, 56 answers to be precise. This is a booklet that's included in our program, but your lead magnet certainly doesn't need to be that comprehensive. It could be a one-page checklist, it could be a quiz, it could be a 2-minute video from you. But all we're asking from the visitor, enter your first name, your email address, your phone number, and then you'll see here, my need for legal assistance is. So it's a good idea to ask at least kind of one qualifying question that's easily answered, ideally multiple choice, to give you a sense of, well, of course, it easily screens out those folks that you can't really help, but also kind of helps you prioritize your prospects that are coming in and the kind of urgency of the follow-up that's needed. Because if you think about it, when we're talking about lead magnets, if you don't have a lead magnet on your site, a visitor comes to your site, maybe they read a couple blog posts, maybe they read about you, about the firm, but then they leave. We never even knew that they were there. So this is really focusing on increasing your conversion rate. And then this slide, here's a look at a sample thank you page. This is a great opportunity to pitch an appointment or even include a direct link to your calendar, to your scheduling page. So even more important, so if you then call the downloaders, the requesters of your lead magnet, and offer an appointment, you will absolutely sign more clients with no increase in your website traffic. So that means, you don't need to spend more on SEO, certainly, not more on PPC to obtain these additional clients. It's really kind of that low hanging fruit that so often is ignored. I talk to attorneys all the time, every day, about how to increase their conversion rate. In other words, I'm not talking about lead volume. If you have some leads, if you have some prospects coming through, why not focus on why not more of those prospects are actually turning into appointments or actually turning into paying clients, right? Because that is the lowest hanging fruit. So many of the firms I talk to sort of ignore those people who inquire and don't immediately sign up, right? And there's so much opportunity there. It really is something that you can automate and really, really see a difference. So I'm going to repeat that because there really is massive value here. If you simply add a pop-up and a call, and so a pop-up lead magnet, and then you call those qualified prospects who leave their contact information, you will absolutely obtain more clients from your current website visitors. So here on the screen, this is kind of the basic script that we have found to be most effective. Let me just read this to you, some of the talking points, right? It doesn't need to be exactly to this, but this should give you a good jumping off point, something that is proven to be effective. So thank you for visiting our website and requesting the free ebook, 56 FAQs about personal injury claims. We hope you're finding it to be a useful resource. Can I ask you why you downloaded the book? Are you looking for legal guidance? When are you available this week to talk to one of our attorneys about your situation? He is very much looking forward to speaking with you. Simple as that, right? Super, super simple. Okay, let's move along. So technique number 2, referral partner calls. So this is interesting. So I know I certainly don't have to convince you of this, but prospects referred by other professionals or other attorneys in your area will be your highest quality and lowest cost leads, right? So it's worth investing some time to obtain more of these, right? And create more of a predictable flow of referrals from your professional sources. So in our efforts to match attorneys with referral partners, we've sent hundreds of emails, thousands of emails, really. We've tried postal letters. We have thousands of calls. We've really developed a winning process. We've really kind of boiled the process down to its most efficient, most effective core. And this exact approach that I'm going to outline is how we've set more than 1,000 referral partner appointments for our attorney subscribers. Okay, so here's how it works. First, we generate a list of 50 local professionals. So these are prospective referral sources for you, people who would commonly come across the type of client that you're looking for, right? So this typically consists of about 25 attorneys and complementary specialties, right? Attorneys in non-competing areas. And then also, and then the other half, the other kind of 25 non-attorneys with kind of overlapping clients or overlapping patients. So certainly that could mean, chiropractors, medical professionals, physical therapists, that kind of thing. So, and then we begin calling this list, right? So it's important to kind of spend some time on that prospect list, on the list of prospective referral sources. You want to make sure that there's some sort of internet presence. They are doing some sort of marketing that would give them a steady flow of patients or clients so that they actually have some business to send your way. But, just a little bit of kind of preliminary online research is sufficient. And then what we do and what you could do internally, we begin calling the list. So more often than not, we're transferred to the professional's voicemail or, to the attorney's paralegal or receptionist, which is fine, actually, we learned. We also send a follow-up email. So many of our appointments are actually set after the voicemail or the message with the receptionist is heard or the email is read. So again, here's a script that we've found to be extremely effective in setting these referral partner appointments. Let me read what's on the slide now, but this is really good. This is a really good jumping off point. You could use a script very similar to this. Hopefully it's actually not you who is trying to set these appointments. Hopefully you're able to kind of delegate this preliminary phone work to someone outgoing, someone who you think would be good at this work in your office. So let me read the script. Hi, my name is Cara. I'm calling from the Jones Law Firm. We're a personal injury firm here in Austin. Our founding attorney, Dustin Jones, asked me to reach out to see if Ms. Keller might be interested in chatting about a referral partnership. We regularly encounter clients we want to refer out, and I've heard great things about your firm. Would Ms. Keller or another partner be willing to chat with Dustin? I would love to set up an appointment between the two of them. Do you have access to their calendar? Really simple. And then this next slide here is the follow-up email template, right? And this works. Again, very similar to the call script. This is just an email. So as you can see on the slide, very similar language, but that follow-up email. So the phone call kind of in concert with the email, those are the two steps that are the most effective when coordinated. And I'll tell you, we used to postally mail letters and other requests, but that didn't work, no matter how attractive the gives we offered. So next time a consultant says to approach your referral partners with a postal letter, we recommend you ignore that advice. We've tried it, learn from our mistakes. It's not, there's a time lag for one thing, of course, a natural time lag when you send something in the mail. And it's, people were not acting on it. It was not the most effective. And of course, it also costs money to send postage. So that's really not the most efficient or most effective way. And we average 2 to 3 hours of work for each appointment set. So think about that. If you're considering doing this work in-house, you know, we average kind of 2 to 3 hours of work for each appointment set. So, you know, you need to make sure that you have that kind of time, or hopefully someone in your office has that kind of time if you're not interested in kind of outsourcing it. So the vast majority of the appointments that we set are honored, they're held, most are kept appointments, and they work out really well. Now, of course, the new relationships, these new budding referral partner relationships, they need to be cultivated. They need to be nurtured, right? You can't just have one phone call and then just expect, you know, the referral business to just flow in month over month over month, right? So what we do is, and what we recommend you do as well, is we actually give branded booklets as one of the ways to kind of start the relationship off on a positive note. And here are some we use for non-attorneys, and here are some we use for attorneys in complementary specialties. But usable content is a way to provide value to your new referral partners without the burden of feeling like you must always cross-refer, right? This doesn't need to be, there doesn't need to be a reciprocal referral every time a referral is sent to you, meaning, you know, most of the attorneys that we work with, especially, of course, the personal injury firms, for instance, they might be receiving referrals from 5 local chiropractors. There's no way you have enough business or enough referrals to send out and kind of feed, you know, five chiropractors on a regular basis. But if you provide value in other ways, then that is kind of the key to nurturing and cultivating that relationship. And keep in mind too, you know, a newsletter could work really well for this, a professional minded newsletter, meaning not the past client newsletter that you may or may not send to your past clients to kind of cultivate those referrals from your past clients. I'm talking about content for professionals that, you know, they would find useful. So content that helps them grow their firm or grow their own business is a great way to stay top of mind with your new referral partners without, you know, taking a bunch of your time on a regular basis. Moving right along, technique number 3, and keep in mind, keep sending those questions. I do see a few coming through. If you just change on your chat to everyone will be able to see your responses. I do see some good ones already, but just change it to everyone so that we can all see your responses. Let me know you're out there. Give me a yep, still with you. If you're still with me in the chat, just let me know that you're still out there and that this is helpful. Okay, so technique number 3, list creation and nurturing. So we've been sending content like newsletters and booklets to over 100 small law firm past clients and contact lists for more than 2 years, almost 3 years actually. So even after cleaning those lists, they tend to be so out of date, unresponsive, that we repeatedly get slapped or even blacklisted by our senders because those lists are so dirty, so out of date. Lawyers typically are not taking care of their email lists, which is really incredibly poor business practice for an internet-driven business like law firms, right? I mean, this could be your most critical, your most precious marketing asset is your list. So it needs to be kind of treated with care, right? And, you know, it's super important too. Like we're repeatedly, you know, I want to say disappointed when we ask law firms for their lists of past clients or other contacts. Many don't have a list. Most of the lists given to us include, you know, not a lot of helpful data, and nearly all the lists are unused and out of date, which makes deliverability really tough. Most lawyers have kind of yet to learn that if you build an email list of engaged followers and you properly cultivate it, properly, you know, take care of it and manage it, your list will become a low-cost source of really pre-sold leads. So there's a big opportunity there. Let's go ahead and move on here. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. So your past clients, they can't refer to you. They can't send you referral business if they don't remember you, if they don't remember your name. And sometimes it's difficult to hear, but you have to do something to stay in touch. You cannot just assume that your past clients are going to remember you and thus refer family and friends, right? So great way to stay in touch. An entertaining and informative newsletter. It's really the best way to stay top of mind. Newsletters might be old school, but they're a proven way to keep in touch with your past clients for referral purposes, right? So the newsletter that we include in our program, and what I really strongly encourage you to adopt, is a variety of content, right? So the whole idea of the newsletter is you want people to actually read it, right? You don't want their eyes to kind of glaze over when they see the newsletter. Maybe they'll actually even share it. So a nice mix of content is key, and you'll see some samples on the slide now. Yeah, helpful kind of lifestyle, general interest pieces, better living, recipes, seasonal articles, all very relevant and all very timely as well. Okay, so our fourth and final proven marketing technique, prospect and client wows. So the easiest and most memorable way to stand apart from your competitors is with prompt, with swift and powerful responses to new leads and new clients, hands down. So the surest way to make those wows happen is with automated sends of helpful information. If you're trying to do this all manually, you're going to be juggling a lot. Things are going to fall through the cracks, and it's just it won't be sustainable, right? So you really do need to automate this. But once you set it up, it kind of just goes, right? And you can really kind of leave these powerful follow-up sequences in place for years with just minor tweaks, if that. So keep in mind, there is some work up front, but it pays, tenfold when much of it is automated, and you can kind of fill those communication gaps with automated messaging. So to persuade new leads that you, and not your competitor down the street, you specifically are the right attorney to retain, we recommend immediately emailing a meaty package of practical information. So a shock and awe package, right? Let's take a look at what we mean by that. So here is a look at what is included in our program. Your shock and awe certainly doesn't need to be this comprehensive, not at all, but here are the shock and awe packages that we use. So they consist of 100 to 300 page book, branded, couple booklets, an educational practice brochure. We use flipbook format for that, but we follow with a lengthy nurturing series. Again, that's the key, and can make follow-up calls, as well. So we recommend you use that same format: impressive first package, follow-up calls, educational nurturing series. So for new clients, basically a parallel approach. So especially if there's a time lag, maybe a time gap between retention and when that visible work is done, super important to fill that communication gap with content that's educational, that explains to your new clients kind of what the process is like, what will be expected of them, what they can expect of you and your team. So the idea there is to kind of combat any buyer's remorse that might set in after they retain. You're hard at work on their case, but they may not understand that or recognize that. And if they don't hear from you, unfortunately, they're going to assume not a lot is happening. So easy way to kind of fill that gap is with an educational series geared toward your new clients, welcoming them aboard, really establishing that critical first impression. So our welcome kits look similar to our shock and awe packages. And then another super powerful way to distinguish yourself is with video. I mean, really, video is the easiest, most effective, most efficient way to distinguish yourself, to stand out from the competition. The whole goal of video is to allow your prospects to sort of meet you on your website before they actually meet you in person, right? So they get a sense of who you are as an attorney, who you are as a person, your approach, but also, you're kind of establishing yourself as the authority and the expert and conveying your caring. And the easiest way to do all that is through video. Be helpful, answer their questions, and really convey that you are the attorney. Specifically, you are the attorney to handle their case. Now I'm going to show you some sample videos, but I have to tell you, video has become just as critical as having a website. It's just a must in your marketing. It's not this kind of nice to have anymore. And that's one of the reasons why we have put so many of our resources and our time into developing the video element of our marketing amplifier program, because honestly, during the pandemic, it quickly became and remains the most popular part of our program. So despite all the content that you get is a great foundation, but we help you shoot custom monthly videos as well. So what should you talk about? What type of videos, should you shoot? Well, again, I'll show you a couple samples just in a moment, but of course, answering common prospect questions, common client questions, that's always helpful. What we found really compelling, especially with our personal injury attorneys, is shooting videos that outline past cases with varying fact patterns. So what I mean by that is you want to have a growing collection of past case videos that outline different situations. The idea is you want your prospects to be able to come to your site and watch you discuss a legal situation that may be very similar to the one that they're experiencing. So, I always recommend just add this into your process. So as you wrap a case, and maybe it's a case with a fact pattern that you haven't yet shot a video for, sit down in front of your computer, talk about, with your webcam, of course, and talk about the case and how you specifically handled it. And you can imagine how compelling that would be to a prospect who's going through a similar situation. So videos, answering common questions, outlining past cases, also revealing your personality, revealing kind of what the firm is like, what it's like to work with you and your team. Really great way to do that is through video. So what I mean is, answer, what attracted you to the law to begin with? What attracted you to your specialty specifically? Kind of what's your mission? What drives you? Meet the team, meet the kind of folks behind the scenes. So all of that kind of stuff is also really powerful. Also, video is just so great for social media. Often I talk to attorneys who just aren't quite sure what to post. On Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, wherever you are, it's video. Video is the answer. That's what you should be posting on social media. And these social media sites are just increasingly, they're prioritizing videos, right? So the more you can kind of play into that, the more exposure and visibility that you'll get, and the more helpful that you'll be able to be with these videos. So let me just play a few minutes of a couple of samples. I think that's kind of the best way to get a sense of what I'm talking about with video. So let me play this.
Hi, I'm attorney Mark Lazarus, personal injury attorney with the law offices of Russell and Lazarus, and we help people who have been injured in accidents to obtain the best outcome for their claims. In life, you have to do what you love. If you don't do what you love, you should be doing something different. Throughout my life, I have loved helping people to get healthy, get their bills paid, and helping them to get back on track. More than that, we enjoy helping people in ways that they don't anticipate. We had a case that came down where somebody had suffered a loss of a child. And despite the fact that we were able to get them more than the insurance company.
So that just gives you a sense of, okay, so I want to show you another sample, but that just gives you a sense of kind of more about the firm, about the lawyer, kind of anything you can do to kind of bring down those barriers and make the whole process less intimidating, that is really, really helpful. Okay, so let me play a little bit of this as well. This is one of our subscribers, Andy Rosenberg, a video that we recently created for him. So let me play that.
Hey everybody, this is Andy Rosenberg from the law offices of Andrew G. Rosenberg, PA. We're a personal injury and estate planning practice that is in the South Florida region of Fort Lauderdale and Miami area. I get lots of questions on all different topics, but I'm going to talk particular about personal injury, and in particular, we're going to go after medical bills. The question becomes, how do I actually pay my medical bills? Do I pay them?
Okay, so this also just gives you a really good sense
this is Andy Rosenberg from the law
of answering common questions, right? Video is a great way to do that. Okay, so this sort of idea of do it yourself or done for you. So for these proven marketing techniques, the implementation hurdles for most small law firms are certainly creating the content, shooting and editing the videos, and making the phone calls. So if you hope to implement these techniques yourself, we recommend beginning with the FAQ pop-up and phone follow-up, because I really do think I know that that's the lowest hanging fruit. So if you have limited resources, which of course most small law firms do, then that's where I highly recommend that you start, and where you'll see kind of the value and the effects the quickest, right? We strongly encourage you to call all of your leads the moment they arrive. Really, failure to promptly call leads is small law firms' most commonly and most costly, really, marketing mistake, right? So dial them over and over until you get through. Ideally, there's someone else in your firm who is doing this dialing for you. So put them in a nurturing series if you don't get in contact, and automate some of this. So to generate referrals, plan on 2 to 3 hours of dialing to kind of set up one referral appointment. I mentioned that earlier, right? That's kind of the amount of time that it takes us. So that's our average across 1,000 dials. So just, if when you are considering, doing this yourself or perhaps outsourcing it, just keep that in mind. If you think that you can dedicate that kind of time, then absolutely, let's do it. But our done for you approach, if you want help with your marketing, our Marketing Amplifier really is a comprehensive program providing custom videos, whole library of consumer content, follow-up email sequences, reviews, social media posts, website additions. We're really working to pack as much value as we can into this program. So everything is included. There's no tiered pricing, but everything is included for $6.95 a month. So we ask for a 3-month commitment. No, after the 3 months, it's a month-to-month agreement, no cancellation fee or anything like that. And we charge just $1 for that first month. It's actually, really fun for us to show you the value of the program right away. You're fully immersed. You've shot your first video in the first month. You've actually received your videos, your completed videos in that first month. And then by the time that 30-day mark arrives, and you're so well, you're already seeing so much of the value, then we start that $6.95 payment. So essentially you're paying for 2 of the first 3 months. And then after the 3 months, it's month to month, $6.95 a month. So everything is included. I actually just shared my scheduling link again in the chat. I see a couple of you have already set those appointments. Just set an appointment with me. There's no pressure. I love talking about marketing. I'm sure I can have some recommendations for you, even if you're, planning on doing this yourself. I'd love to chat. So a couple of questions. Obviously, we're kind of heavy on the personal injury firms, of course, in this presentation, because that's how we presented it. But I did get a private question in the chat of which practice areas we cover. So obviously personal injury. Since the program is so content heavy, we offer it in 7 core specialties. So personal injury, bankruptcy, business litigation, family law, criminal defense, and DUI. I'm forgetting estate planning, of course. So those are the areas that we currently provide the program. And okay, another question: when I talk about newsletter, past client newsletters, am I talking about a print newsletter, or am I recommending an e-newsletter? So this kind of depends on your list and how much money you want to spend, basically. So included in the Marketing Amplifier program, it's an e-newsletter. We found that to be really effective, but we actually have some of our subscribers who ask us to also print and postally mail the physical version of the newsletter every month. They have a solid mailing list, postal mailing list. And we just charge basically our cost for that fulfillment. But, if you're doing it on your own, just really evaluate your list. Do you have a strong postal list? And do you want to pay for the printing and the postage on a regular basis? Because if you do, I would do both. Absolutely. The e-newsletter in conjunction with the print newsletter. Just, people kind of ingest information in different ways. Another question is, you talked a lot about email. What about text messaging? Great question. This is actually a question I'm getting increasingly more often. Text messaging is a wonderful way to convey, to deliver educational materials, to remind your prospects of their appointment, to follow up on their appointment. So it just depends on whether or not you've been collecting cell phone numbers, right? So if you have cell phone numbers and it's something that your prospect or your client has kind of opted into receiving text messages from you, absolutely. I mean, text messages are read at a far higher rate than emails. All of our inboxes are sort of exploding right now. So the competition is obviously more difficult for deliverability for email, but also, it's many of the law firms that I talk to have not been collecting cell phone numbers. So it's just kind of what your list looks like, but you can always start. I say, if you don't have an email list and you don't have cell phones, just start collecting them. You don't need to have thousands of names in order for, these tactics to be effective. Okay. So what kind of videos do you request, or do you suggest creating, I think is the question. Yeah. So what type of videos do you suggest creating? So I went through several samples, several ideas, answering common questions, past clients, sort of about the firm. If you're going to shoot only one type of video, in other words, you only have time to shoot one type of video, absolutely, for my personal injury attorneys, I always recommend starting with the past case videos. Those are the most compelling. They really help you screen out and qualify your prospects. They understand, the type of cases that you bring in and the type of cases that you work on, and your areas of specialty, your areas of expertise, right? So start with discussing past cases, again, with varying fact patterns. Whole idea is that you're growing a collection of videos. When I talk about videos, I'm not talking about shooting one high production value sort of spotlight about the firm video that really just kind of, gets stale after a couple of months. Not to say that there isn't a place for that type of video, but I'm talking about kind of leveling the playing field and virtually shooting these videos. So as part of the Amplifier program, we will schedule monthly 30-minute virtual shoots with you. So you'll jump on a Zoom where, you're sharing, you're actually on a Zoom with one of our directors, with one of our video interviewers, who will, of course, make sure that, your background looks okay, your lighting looks okay, audio sounds good. And then we're providing topics, scripts, talking points, whatever level of support you need, we're providing for those video shoots. And we're collecting all the footage we need in a single monthly 30-minute shoot to then deliver you 2 custom videos every month. So it's a growing collection of videos. We do all the editing, of course. We add our content, our slides, our B-roll, and really create an impressive end product that then we publish for you. We push to social media. We add to your website, of course. We kind of sprinkle throughout those email nurturing sequences, use the videos in any way that we can. So these are virtually shot. You don't need to dedicate, 8 hours of your day to an on-site crew. This is really efficient and something that has become really popular in our program. Okay, so I'm double checking. I think I got to most of the questions. If you have any other questions, please just let me know. You can always contact me directly. You see my phone number and email address there. My email is kprior, KPRIOR @jamespublishing.com, or give me a call at 714-434-5926. Again, no strings attached, would just love to chat. So I think that should do it. Yep, I don't see any more questions. Feel free, you'll actually get a recording of this presentation later today, emailed to you. So you'll have that in your inbox. Okay. All right. Thanks for a great session, guys. We'll see you again soon. Best of luck. Stay safe. Bye-bye.